What's going on, everybody? Carson here with Happy to Fly Outdoors. It's that time of season again, and today we're going to be talking about my early season gear that I go out squirrel hunting with. Let's get started. So before going forward, I have to explain myself why I chose this selection of gear to go out squirrel hunting. So early season squirrel hunting is one of the best times and maybe one of the toughest times to go out squirrel hunting, depending on what gear that you bring. So to describe early season squirrel hunting for you, squirrels are mainly now trying to gather up nuts for the coming winter. So during this time in September all the way through late October, squirrels are most active and they're going to be trying to gather up as much nuts as possible for the coming winter season. Now during these times are the most best times to go out and get some squirrels, but there are some complications. So in early season, the leaves have not fallen down from the trees yet, so it makes it a little bit more difficult to go and target those squirrels, either if they're in some tight brush. And here what I got in front of me today, I'm going to be showing you my top gear, what I use and why I use it when I go out during these early seasons. So the most important opinion to me when you're starting off squirrel hunting in early season is your selection of weapon and what you use for that weapon. So a lot of people will tell you start off with a 22 long rifle, which is a great gun and which is most preferred in late season. I tend to use the 12 gauge shotgun here for my early season squirrel hunting. Let me explain why. So in the early season, there's still a lot of trees out there that have leaves on them. So if you're going to be using a 22 and you have some tight brush, you have the risk of hitting a twig, leaf, or bush that still has greenery on it. Now with all these leaves and greenery, your bullet might conflict with that structure of greenery, leaf, branches, sticks, things like that, and might conflict you aiming and getting that squirrel. The reason why I use the 12 gauge here that I have, this is a pump action 12 gauge, is that you have multiple pellets coming all at once at the squirrel, and it can definitely get through that tighter brush that the 22 might have complications with. Now that's my opinion when I start off early season shooting for squirrels. I want to be using my 12 gauge. Now that's one of the parts of the weapon that I use to go out squirrel hunting. Now there are some really important parts along the way. So let's now discuss about what type of chokes and what type of ammo that I use for early season squirrels. Now I have done a gear dump for squirrels in my past video. If you want to check it out, it's on my YouTube channel, and if you want to go check that out, so if you check out that video, this is more of the updated version of that from this past season and what I learned, and this is my updated video for that. Now previously I have changed my ammo selection for squirrel and including my choke. So the size of choke that I recommend is a full choke. What I figured out is that with the full choke, you're able to get precision, distance, and definitely pack to punch when you're packing through brush and greenery. This is the type of choke that you want. This is actually a True Glow choke that I have selected. This is actually a turkey choke, and I have found really good luck using this. But remember, when using full choke, most chokes, full chokes, recommend that you use lead. So if you're buying ammo for your choke, buy a choke either you have variations of steel, or you can use lead, so you can use either. Or if you're getting a full, or you already have a full choke, use lead when using a full choke. And also check with your owner's manual, things like that, just to make sure everything is safe. So the size of shot that I have recommended, and the size of shot depends with the choke that you're using, so you definitely want to go out there in the field and do some target shooting. And I have a piece of paper here to show my groupings of what I got here. But besides that, this, I'm not like recommending it to everybody because everybody might have different results. For me, I chose this Express long range Remington ammo. This is shotgun ammo, and I'm going to be showing you right here. Hopefully you can see that. You can pause the video if you want to see it. Now this is the type of shot that I use for this full choke with my setup here with the 12 gauge. So this is a 12 gauge ammo. Obviously it has to match with your shotgun, and if you do have a 20 gauge, you can obviously use that, but I mean, it's lighter, it's easier to use, or it's easier to aim, things like that. but I recommend the 12 gauge just in my opinion. For this information on here is a 12 gauge 2 3/4 inch, and velocity is 1,330. The ounce shot is 1 1/4, and this is 5 shot. So the only thing I'm getting here is that with the 5 shot, previously in my previous video I said 6. I figured out that that shot is way too small to penetrate and get to those squirrels. Now, in some conditions, it worked great for me. Long distance, I really struggled. So basically with the full choke, with the 5 shot mix and combo with it together, it really is unstoppable to get those squirrels in the early season. And just to show you, this is my grouping that I got with this 5 shot with the full choke at 40 yards. So hopefully you can see. I mean that's a crazy grouping. I was super impressed with the grouping. There's so many pellets in this black section with the red dot there. I'm fully satisfied with the results. So overall, this is going to be my weapon setup for this coming season, and I'll be sure to be doing some squirrel hunting videos along the way, of course, and I'll be showing you some tips and tricks to get some more squirrels and tactics to get those squirrels during the early season. So besides all that, let's move on. Alright, so now we talked about the weapon, the shot that I'll be using, or what I recommend, and also the choke. All these rest of the things I have here on the table besides the weapon, the choke, and the ammo is just as important as the weapon itself. So obviously you're going to have some sort of pack on you. So this is the pack that I used from last season, and I really did have really good luck with it. So during early season, you're going to get those early squirrels. I shouldn't say this, but the stupid squirrels. Later season they get a little bit smarter, but you're going to be shooting a lot, you're going to be shooting at a lot of squirrels, and you're going to be getting a lot of squirrels, and you're getting a lot of action. This setup here that I had was a little complicated for the time. It was simple, put your gear in there, it was nice, tight, and also you can gather your game with it, but the problem is getting ammo out of the pack and getting those shots that I needed to get at the squirrels. For example, I would shoot 3 shots, and then all of a sudden I see another squirrel coming or running away from me when I made those shots, and I had to grab my pack on my side, so I had to keep on unzipping my pack, taking my ammo out, reloading the gun, and by the time that happened, I would miss the squirrel. Preferably, if you're going to be using some sort of pack or something like that you need those quick shots and you know there's a lot of squirrels, so basically there are some bird shot vests or either upland game vests that you can get, which I do recommend so you can quickly get some ammo out. For example, this shirt here has a pocket. I can always put a couple of shots in there, which is always helpful. So besides the pack itself, what do I put in my pack? Like what else am I using for this squirrel hunting adventure? Now, the one thing I'm going to keep the same in this video from my previous video is that I want everything to be simple. Look, you can go as complicated as you want on squirrels, but I like to keep it simple because I find the simpler, the better, and the quicker you can react to your squirrel hunting adventure. I like to keep it simple, but I need some essential things to put in my pack that I need to be in order to have a successful hunt for squirrels. So besides the pack itself, I always like to carry a first aid kit and including a fire starter. Now, some people out there prefer to just bring some hunting gear and they know where they're going, they're not going to get lost or anything else like that, but accidents do happen. So I tend to bring a pack of band-aids. I like to bring a stop bleed pack, so in case if I have some sort of injury, and of course I always like to bring a knife with me in any situation. Now, I'm not a sponsor of this knife, but I do recommend it. Now, Weeby, if you're watching this, I'll be proud to be a sponsor of you. So besides that, now, this knife has been such a great knife for me. This is a specific skinning knife that I use for my squirrels all the time. So this is just a basic skinning knife that I got from Weeby. I previously got this from last year. So this knife here is strictly a skinning knife. Now, the review, I haven't done a full review on these knives, but I've been using these knives for quite a while. Now, these knives are great when you're skinning. These are made for skinning. Now, if you're in a survival situation, in an outdoor situation, I would do recommend the durability on these. The blades are able to break if you're cutting really thick material. But other than that, for any type of one-on-one basic use, this knife is fantastic. So if you're interested in Weeby knives, please check out the description below. I'll have the link down in my description. So besides the knives itself, I also bring a fire starter. So in any survival situation, you always want a fire. Of course, hunting season starts in September. Yeah, it's not gonna be too cold, but coming this October, November, December, I always love to bring a fire starter. And even if you're at a camp, things like that, this fire starter has always worked great for me. Now the fire starter I'm going to be introducing today is actually made by me. So I have the Happy on the Fly Outdoors Etsy shop running right now, and the product that I'm running is this Happy on the Fly Outdoors Emergency Fire Starter. So if you're interested in fire starters, things like that, this is an essential tool for your survival pack. So basically, this cotton swab is injected with a fire starter liquid and then coated with wax. So this fire starter that I made is both waterproof, windproof, and including you can use these in any type of harsh conditions. Only thing you need to do is to break the sealing of the wax, expose the fibers from the cotton. You can use either a flint striker or a lighter, and including it'll stay lit for 5 to 7 minutes. If you do purchase this fire starter from my shop, I thank you for your service and your support. It supports me, my family, and my business on my Etsy shop, and of course it supports my YouTube channel. And if you do, thank you very much. So the last thing I want to share with you is essential when you're getting started in that early season squirrel hunting. Now, the cool thing about early season hunting that I forgot to mention is that squirrels are incredibly aggressive during this time. Basically, they're always chattering and always aggressive to other squirrels that are coming in their territory and stealing their nuts. Now, this is a great opportunity for the hunter to get out there and get those squirrels, but you need a certain tool to get them. Now, what I got here is some squirrel calls. Only thing you need for a squirrel call is either a squirrel whistle or a squirrel barker. And also, if you want to check out the review on these game calls, I also have that on my YouTube channel. So besides all of that all together, that is my squirrel hunting gear that I'm going to be using for this early season. So if you have any questions at all, please leave a comment. I'll be glad to get back to you. And if you really enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing to my YouTube channel. It does help a bunch. Other than that, thank you everybody for watching. Good luck out there, and I really hope this video helps you to bag those squirrels. Catch you in the next one.